What's going on, everyone? Today we have got another tactical masterclass here on the channel. Today it is with Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone. Now, today we're going to be going over Diego Simeone's 4-4-2 as well as a 4-2-4 that I adapted from his 4-4-2. And of course, just like the last time we did one of these tactical masterclasses, after I showcase both of the tactics, we'll be doing a one-season simulation with some transfers that I think could help out Atletico Madrid with the current system that Diego Simeone is currently implementing. Now, throughout Simeone's time at Atletico Madrid, he has required a couple of things from his sides. One is make sure that you play very sound defense. Another is work rate. He wants you to work hard. Another is great teamwork. And finally, having loyalty. His sides have a crazy amount of loyalty. He doesn't change up players all too much. Now that they're getting older, they definitely have to bring in a new guard, and it's working pretty darn well. And that's because he's done one thing that he usually doesn't do over time at Atletico Madrid, because throughout his time, he has kind of relied on the same defensive anti-football systems. However, now he has gone very offensive, but not in the super aggressive kind of gegenpressing type of offense. It's definitely a Simeone type of offense where he leaves you guessing constantly as to how to prepare and what's going on. So here is his 4-4-2 system that we are now about to go over. This, as of the day of recording, is the last 11 that his side played against Valencia. I believe they won 3-0. Now, how this 4-4-2 works is not like a Sean Dyche 4-4-2. It is very unique, it is very fluid, it is very versatile. It is, dare I say, overpowered not only in reality, but especially within Football Manager, which you guys will see in a few moments. Now, some of the things that I had to do to kind of recreate his system to the best of my ability within Football Manager was get creative with the roles. Now, how his strikers operate, Mr. Julian Alvarez and Antoine Griezmann, they are false nines. They like to drop in, not like a deep line forward. They like to drop in, free roam, but also there is something that they specifically Antoine Griezmann really likes to do, and he makes the opponent pay a lot, which we will cover here in 1 second. But the defensive midfielders, to get them exactly how they operate in reality, it's kind of difficult, because how they kind of operate in reality, you have one that's for sure 110% a roaming playmaker, and then the other tends to be like a roaming playmaker, but also an anchor. So they'll kind of stay while the other goes. Now, what I could have done is definitely have one like a box-to-box midfielder, have the other as an anchor, but what I opted for was putting both as roaming playmakers, and they actually played pretty similar to how they do in reality. So we've got double false nines and double roaming playmakers. Now, I did not think that was going to work that well, but it actually did very well. And our wingers, where Simeone and Lino are, they are inverted wingers. They cut inside. Now, one of the reasons why I opted to do that is because of how this side builds out from the back. Usually it's playing out from the entire defense, which they do play out from the defense. However, what they do is, say Oblak has the ball. Oblak is going to play it out. So he plays it out, and then all of the numbers converge on the fullback, and then they play it in. They play it out, they play it in. And it's like that a majority of the time. It's very hard to stop. They kind of suck in all the pressure, and then they counter and go immediately. It's incredible. So as an example, you see here, the pressure is converging on Azpilicueta with the ball. He is going to have to play it in. Like I said, they play it out and then they play it in. But you'll notice, like I was mentioning earlier, Antoine Griezmann does something pretty unique. He likes to be in an offside position. So what that allows him to do, essentially, is create chaos. So what he's going to do is be in an offside position. He is then going to drop in into a position that he can then say the ball is played to to Llorente. They kind of push him. He then receives the ball from Llorente. What this causes to happen is DePaul, as Antoine Griezmann is making this drop to receive the ball, DePaul then goes. Alvarez starts to go. Lino starts to go, as well as Simeone. They all start going. And Antoine Griezmann, it serves as that focal point in attack that kind of everything just stems off of. And now that's not saying that Julian Alvarez also can't do this job. However, Antoine Griezmann does it to a whole other level compared to Julian Alvarez. So this is kind of the Antoine Griezmann role, and he is incredible at it currently, and it's made it very hard for opponents to deal with them. And it was really highlighted in their match against Barcelona that they ended up coming back winning 2-1. Now, one last thing I want to quickly highlight is due to how this system is, and the roles essentially that these players play, it's very versatile and interchangeable. Players are going to kind of end up everywhere. No one has solidified positions. And yes, I did mention earlier that one of them kind of plays like an anchor, which in this case, it would have probably been Llorente. Now, he would try and stay a little bit deeper, so he has at least an area to dominate. However, being that we are on double roaming playmakers for this tactic to kind of operate as close to reality as possible, this is kind of how it can end up looking like. This is how it would look in attack. Like I said, this is how it can end up looking like. The amount of versatility and just creative freedom and roaming from positions that a lot of these roles end up doing is amazing. Now, the fullbacks are going to be attacking. They are overlapping. Usually, Simeone likes to have at least a back three. He has kind of abandoned that as of recently. Sometimes, yes, they do play with the back three against certain sides and make sure that they do have at least one extra member back. But a majority of the time right now, it is all-out attack. So you've got Azpilicueta and Molina playing pretty far up, looking for overlaps from the side. You'll have Simeone, who is going to be one of those inverted wingers, being inside. But notice how Griezmann, from coming down to receive that ball to then start the attack, he drops down. So he's down here with Llorente now. You have DePaul up here where Griezmann would have been. And being that the false nine can roam from its position, Alvarez is out here occupying the space that Lino has now taken up with his spot. So Lino cuts inside, Alvarez takes his place, Azpilicueta's out wide as that fullback. There is a lot of interchanging, and it's very hard for the opponent to adapt to what is being thrown at them, not only in reality, but especially within FM, and the results definitely show. So like I said, the results definitely show what Simeone's system is capable of. What were the results with his tactic, though? They ended up winning the league on 96 points with a 125 goal differential. They won the Champions League, and they won the Copa del Rey while being runners-up in the Supercopa de España. And within the league, they scored 163 goals, 20 more goals than Real Madrid did, which beating out this Real Madrid side is very difficult to do. When looking at the numbers, it scores loads and loads of goals. Yes, he will concede around a goal per game because of how offensive it is, but you're going to be scoring loads of goals, which is exactly what Simeone is trying to do now with this system. But then when you get to the player numbers and how they produced, it really shines through with the versatility and everything just combining for the perfect system, essentially, because you've got a false nine scoring 47 goals with an inverted winger also scoring 38. Yes, the center back did have 33 goals. That's because of set pieces, and they're pretty good for the ones that I use. But Julian Alvarez still had 27 goals. And you have Samuel Lino at 26. The roaming playmakers with 17 and 11. Marcus Llorente as a fullback with 10. And then you get into the assist numbers. Rodrigo de Paul, inverted winger, 38 goals, but 42 assists. Antoine Griezmann, 47 goals, 31 assists as a false nine. You got Conor Gallagher and Koke. They were the roaming playmakers throughout this test. They had 22 and 20. Then you got your fullbacks having 18 and 15. And I mean, just the numbers are absolutely incredible. And now before we get into the tactic itself, a quick little message for you guys in regards to how you can now download tactics. Now, anyone looking to download any tactics here from the channel or any downloads in the future of the channel, all of those will be available to YouTube members and Twitch subscribers. All Twitch subs and YouTube members will not only have access to my tactics, but any set pieces that I do in the future, training schedules, rebuild files, whatever it may be, anything that is downloadable will be accessible to those who are either a Twitch sub or a YouTube member. And for those that wish to be a YouTube member or Twitch sub at either Tier 2 or Tier 3, you will get a print of your save. Yes, a 5-year outlook, 4-year save to help you reach the goals and immortalize your saves. They cover everything from your best 11 and your tactic, and if there needs to be tweaks, what transfer targets you should go after, and of course, the 5-year outlook. So if you wish to become a member and have access to everything that I just discussed, then I will have a link down below in the description for those of you who wish to join. And if you are interested in one of the prints, but you don't want to do the Tier 2 or Tier 3 membership, then definitely feel free to hit me up and we can discuss about getting you one. But now, let's go ahead and get into the tactic. Alright, so if you aren't a member yet of the channel, definitely feel free, just go ahead, copy over all the roles and instructions to your save or whatever, especially those of you on console. I know you guys can't download tactics, so feel free, just copy it on over from the video. But we have got Gormy's 4-4-2 Simeone machine. Like I've talked about a bunch of the roles already, we've got 2 false 9s up top, inverted wingers on attack out wide, rolling playmakers on support and defensive midfield, 2 fullbacks on attack, 2 ball playing defenders on defend, and a sweep keeper on support. Now these false 9s on support have shoot more often, roam from position, move into channels, and mark tighter. The inverted wingers on attack have crosses aimed at center, shoot more often, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Those roaming playmakers on support have dribble more, move into channels, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Both fullbacks on attack have cross from the byline, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, stay wider, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The ball playing defenders on defend have dribble more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. And the sweep keeper on support was left as is. Mentality-wise, this is played with an attacking mentality. It is an attacking tactic. I would suggest keeping it on attacking. However, if you want to go positive and or balanced to kind of work your way into the system, definitely feel free to do so, especially if you're kind of like a relegation threatened type side. But with how this system performs, it should definitely help you claw yourself out of whatever battle you are in. Now, when we are in possession, we have fairly narrow attacking width. We play out from the defense, focusing play through the middle and looking for those overlaps on the left and the right from our fullbacks on attack. Focusing the play through the middle, which you will see in a moment in the transition instructions, allows us to go from playing it out to then playing it back in. We use low crosses in the final third, work the ball into the box, standard passing directness, and slightly higher tempo. When in transition, we counter-press and counter, distributing quickly, and we distribute to the fullback. So yes, we're playing out from the back like I had mentioned, but we're playing it out wide to then play it through the middle. Once out of possession, high press line of engagement, much higher defensive line, more often trigger press intensity. So once again, if you wish to give this tactic a go, you can obviously become a member here on the channel, which I will have a link down below for those of you who wish to join, or you can copy it on over from the video. Just feel free to pause and rewind any bits that you need to. But now we're going to move on over to the tactic that I made based off of the Simeone system. So my system is adapted from Simeone's 4-4-2 into a 4-2-4. It's actually 2 pretty simple changes, yet 2 pretty major changes, because it allows for us to outscore the next highest club goal scoring wise by 50 goals in this test with this 4-2-4. So the backline goalkeeper and roaming playmakers all staying the same. However, we're moving those inverted wingers up higher to create that front 4. And the false 9s are going to become complete forwards. One is on support, one is on attack. Now, the left one is the one on support, the right one is the one on attack. So, technically, we should, for this, be switching where Griezmann and Alvarez are, because Griezmann is still going to be doing that dropping into midfield, trying to pick up the ball, play it up from there. And this allows for just a boatload more goal-scoring opportunities. Hence, like I said, the next closest team to us, we outscored them by 50 goals. And it once again performs essentially the exact same as the 4-4-2. It's just a little bit more aggressive. So everything that you saw me breaking down with the 4-4-2, This does just in a 4-2-4 instead. However, the complete forwards will perform a little bit differently. So the false nines definitely are going to be dropping a little bit more than the complete forwards will, but they will still be dropping to where all those changes that I mentioned earlier can all still occur. However, just know it is not going to be to the same extent of kind of interchangeability, but you are going to be scoring way more goals. So with my version of the Simeone system, what did it do competition-wise? Well, we won the league on 107 points, losing one game with a 143 goal differential. We ended up winning the Champions League, just like the last test, but we did not win the Copa del Rey. Instead, this time we won the Supercopa de España. And like I've been mentioning, we scored 50 more goals this time around than Real Madrid and scored more goals with this system than the previous one, which once again is showcased right here in the data hub, where we were 0.03 off from 5 goals a game. We were conceding more though, however, so definitely keep that in mind. To score more goals, you're going to have a price to pay, which will definitely be conceding a tiny bit more, but you're going to be outscoring all your problems essentially. And just like in the last test, when looking at the numbers, a crazy amount of versatility when it comes to the goal scoring. We've got Antoine Griezmann with 52 goals, but 49 assists as that complete forward on support. You got Rodrigo de Paul, once again, putting up major numbers, 47 goals and 29 assists. Julian Alvarez with 35 goals. You got Samuel Lino, once again, one of those inverted wingers, 27 goals and 31 assists. Lenormand, once again, doing great off those set pieces. But still, Koke and Conor Gallagher both putting up double digits in both goals as well as assists. And then looking at the assists for the fullbacks, we have got Llorente with 20 and Javi Gayan with 15. So still very, very potent, very attacking, very aggressive, very good. And here we are with the tactic, and once again, just like the last one, for those of you who are Twitch subscribers or members here on the YouTube channel, it will be available to you in early access as well as early access to the video itself. So if you are interested in that, I'll once again be linking the link to join down below in the description. And if you are not a member or a Twitch sub, feel free to just copy it on over to your saves, especially if you are on console. So this one is called Gormy's 4-2-4 Atletico de Machine. We have got the complete forward on support, a complete forward on attack. We then have the inverted wingers on attack as well, double roaming playmakers on support, double fullbacks on attack, 2 ball playing defenders on defend, and a sweeper keeper on defend. Now the complete forward on support has shoot more often and mark tighter. The complete forward on attack has those exact same instructions, shoot more often and mark tighter. The inverted wingers on attack have crosses aimed at center, shoot more often, tackle harder, mark tighter. Roaming playmaker on support, dribble more, move into channels, tackle harder, mark tighter. Fullbacks on attack have cross from the byline, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, stay wider, tackle harder, mark tighter. Those ball playing defenders on defend have dribble more, tackle harder, mark tighter. And the sweep keeper on defend has take fewer risks. This is once again played with an attacking mentality. Highly suggest you use it. It is a very, very good attacking type tactic. When we're in possession, we have got fairly narrow attacking width. Play out from the defense, focusing play through the middle, looking for those overlaps on the left and right. Working the ball into the box, using low crosses in the final third, standard passing directness, and slightly higher tempo. When in transition, we counter-press and counter, distributing quickly by distributing to those fullbacks. When out of possession, we have mid-block line of engagement, much higher defensive line, and more often trigger press. So there we have it for the 2 tactics, both absolutely incredible. I've actually adapted the Simeone machine in my current save that I'm doing just to kind of fit my side a little bit better that I'm currently doing it with, and it's unbelievable. So if you're looking for loads of goals, something a bit different, bit unique, both of these tactics definitely have all of that and more for you. But now we're going to go ahead and go through that 1 season simulation with the transfers with the Simeone machine tactic. So when going into the simulation with the transfers, I knew what players I definitely did want to move on from to help bring in a little bit more money. I started with around, I believe it was like 50-60 million, but thanks to the transfers I'm about to tell you, which were Reinildo to Newcastle United, Saul to Inter Milan, Nahuel Molina to Arsenal, and Angel Correa to Benfica. So by selling them, it allowed me to add an extra little over £100 million to the transfer budget to then allow me to bring in players that could upgrade in a few areas, but also kind of plan for the future a little bit in some ways. So I brought in Ousmane Diomande from Sporting, brought Kengan Lee back to LaLiga from PSG, got a pretty solid depth option in Pablo Maffeo at right back, got a gem of a defensive midfielder to kind of build up in Hugo Larsson. Got another great defensive option for the future in Abakar Saila. And then got a decent backup goalkeeper in Albin Lafont. I brought in all of them for thanks, obviously, to the power of installments for around £200 million. So after bringing in those players and installing them into the starting 11, only one really cracks the starting 11. However, thanks to the versatility that a lot of those players have, they really make this team a whole lot stronger, and hopefully we can not only repeat with this system as a League of Champions, but also Champions League champions. I think one part that's going to be key is our backline being bolstered by the addition of Ousmane Diomande. So now we're going to go ahead and simulate this season to see how we get on with the additions that we made to Diego Simeone's system. We would start the league season off with a 7-1 win over Espanyol, which would feature a hat-trick from Rodrigo de Paul, who once again throughout this entire simulation had an unbelievable season. Just that inverted winger role is unbelievable in this Diego Simeone system. One of our biggest results this season would come in the Madrid derby, where we would end up thrashing Real Madrid by a score of 6-1. That is correct. Atletico Madrid beating Real Madrid, who has Mbappe, by a score of 6-1. All thanks to a hat-trick from Robin Lenormand. Well, they would dominate domestically once again. They would also dominate in the Champions League with a 9-0 win during the league phase over Danish side Brøndby. Things would be pretty tight until the end of the season for Atletico Madrid, because even though they were absolutely dominant, so were Real Madrid. But that wouldn't stop them from lifting the league title once again with 170 goals scored. And they would also go on to another Champions League final, this time taking on Liverpool, where they would end up seeing braces from Antoine Griezmann and Pablo Maffeo to ensure a 5-3 Champions League victory for Simeone's side, once again proving just how darn good this new system truly is. So, second time around with the Simeone machine, and they won the league once again. They won the Champions League, they won the Super Cup, they got knocked out in the semifinal of the Copa del Rey by Real Madrid, but they also won the Supercopa de España, which I'm pretty sure I'm blocking right now. But once again, just outright dominant, which the Data Hub once again backs up that it is pretty dominant, as do the player numbers, because there would be 9 players to feature with double-digit goals, as well as 9 players to feature with double-digit assists. And even though now at this point Antoine Griezmann would be 34 years of age, he still had 70 goal contributions. So if you're looking for some tactics that are just going to outright help you dominate the world of football, the Simeone system is definitely one to look into. So there we have it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please feel free, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button. If you wish to give these tactics a go and download them for yourselves, once again, I'll be linking down below in the description the link to join the membership here on YouTube, where you get early access not only to the tactics, but also to videos as well. Some other perks in there too. And let me know down in the comments below what other managers and clubs you'd like to see a tactical masterclass of in the future as well. Right now I'll be popping up the most recent one, which was with David Moyes Everton. So if you wish to check that out, definitely feel free to do so. But until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.